talked or communicated at all with the governor's office about this? Have you reached out to them and said, you know, I really think you ought to investigate?
I have not. I'm doing it by this means. Let me just tell you, the day after the election, I called Governor-elect Nixon to congratulate him and offer my help. I said to him on that occasion, you face significant Republican majorities in both houses, and I'm offering my help.
Sure.
That is the last conversation other than hello that he and I have had. That will soon be 5 months ago. He has at no point called on my help, even though I've given him my help in helping get some of his nominees confirmed for important posts in the cabinet, and even though I'm trying to help him pass his economic development bill and beat back some of the bad amendments that are being offered on that.
Is there anything the legislature can do to inquire of Director Britt and how this all came about?
I certainly believe there is. They have the power of the purse, and they can certainly call Director Britt before a committee and ask about other reports that may be out there. And these are only fair questions that Missourians have a right to know about.
Do you have an idea why seemingly it's only conservative and libertarian groups which have been singled out and not liberal groups?
Do I have an idea? Sure, I have ideas. Steve, I have ideas, but it's not for me to characterize. We've laid out the facts. You have done a great job, all of you, in laying out the facts. Now it's their job to explain and do more explaining than they have. For them to put out what is being called a letter of apology that says, we're sorry we mentioned Bob Barr and Ron Paul and their supporters, and makes no reference to pro-lifers and the other honest Missourians who they slandered here, is far short of an effective and sufficient response.
Governor, if I may ask a question about the economic development bill, what is your take on the proposal for capital?
I think it's a fair argument to have. It's been a long-running argument. It seems to be coming to a head now. I have not been one supporting a cap, but if that's where the debate is going, I think it's better to have a cap, and a reasonably high one, than to scrap the program, certainly, which seems to be. And I would appeal to my friends in my own party who are on this cause, and who tend to be, not in all cases, but tend to be from out of state, to spend some time in the inner city as I have and see the marvelous benefits that have accrued to our urban cores, which we all want to be healthy as a result of historic preservation taxes.
Is 75 million or 50 million too low?
I think it is.
Aside from recommending that Director Britt be out of Missouri, do you agree with the edits that they're planning to make to the document, and what do you think should be done?
Well, I don't agree with the edits that have been put out to this point. That one letter of redaction, as I've stated here, it's insufficient. So I guess the editing process is ongoing, and I'll see how it unfolds.
Last question?
You said that the report slanders anti-abortion groups and others. Is that fair? I mean, it's not saying that all people who oppose abortion are terrorists. It's saying that some domestic terrorists, as their main issue, is the abortion issue or any number of others.
When you have a singular focus, as you do, on elements all on the conservative side of the spectrum, and ignore the left-wing extremists that I outlined, the environmental extremists who have killed people in this country with their bombings, put nails, huge, thick nails, almost as thick as my arm, in trees where loggers are earning their livelihood, set bombs at logging camps and the corporate offices, and killed innocent people, and there's no mention of that. I say that that is a singular focus that approaches, walks right up to the line of slander, and I think it's wrong.
I got a quick MDFB question. Yesterday, you raised some concerns about the governor's proposal for the small business loan. Do you think it's enough that $2 million doesn't seem like it would go very far pretty quickly? And if not, do you have any kind of counter proposal to it?
I made the motion, which was in part, as it was amended, adopted unanimously by the board, to have this go before our finance committee for study. The new chairman who replaced me, Linda Martinez, is the chairman of the Finance Committee also. So she'll be sort of in the driver's seat on the review of this loan program. We learned one very interesting fact yesterday. After the departure of one of our members, owing to his failure to be reappointed by Governor Nixon, who was a banker from right here in Jefferson City, we only have one banker left on the board. And he was silent during the discussion, as many of us put in our 2 cents worth, and I spoke up and I said, we haven't heard from the one person on this board who has decades of experience in banking, in making loans, in managing loans, and in overseeing them and running a $100 million bank. Let's hear from Mr. Eckelkamp from Washington, Missouri.
Right.
And L.B. Eckelkamp spoke up and said, and he's quoted in the Post-Dispatch this morning, I think you're kidding yourself if you're calling this a loan program.
Right.
Go and get the article. He said, I think you're kidding yourself if you're calling it anything but a grant, and you will have over a 50% default rate. Now, those of us who are stewards of the public fist, of the taxpayers' money, including Governor Nixon, must ask ourselves, as we on the Missouri Development Finance Board review this proposal, are we being good stewards of the taxpayer money and going down the road on a micro loan program that we are advised reliably will have a 50% or greater default rate, and that in fact should not be called a loan program, but it is just a grant?
What do you say to criticisms that this is kind of you having a standoff with the governor on a fairly petty issue?
I don't think it's petty. $2 million. I think every dollar counts. And I think you go in any coffee shop across Missouri and talk to them about a loan program, that their state government should get into the loan business where we know going in we're going to have a 50% or greater default rate. I think there might be a lot of legitimate questions about that, and I'm trying to raise them now.
Thank you, Mr. Levin.
I may end up supporting the program if I can be convinced, but I have a lot of questions. Thank you. Thanks.